Hey there, and welcome to Mompreneurs Making Moves. I'm your host, Amariah Murdoch, founder and CEO of Infinite Exec. And if you are a busy business owner looking for ways to scale and optimize your impact and just multiply what you're doing, we have amazing wing woman executive assistants for you. You can visit us at infiniteexec.com. But if you've ever tried to answer emails with a toddler pulling at your sleeve, or you've wondered how to grow your business while chasing your dreams and your kids, then you're in the right place, because every week we'll get real about wins, messes, and all those magical moments in between. We're going to share practical tips, honest stories, and the laughs that keep us going. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm your host, Amariah Murdoch, and today I am joined by the lovely Roxane Bybee. She is an owner of an amazing, business that's continuing to grow at a fast rate, from what I understand. And also, she is a mother, and she's right here in St. George. So for those of you who are local, who are following along, here's a local entrepreneur, great person to connect with. I'm sure most of you already know her, but, definitely have to have her on the cast so we can get to know more people here and support each other. Roxane, how are you today?
I am excellent, and I'm so excited to be here. And wow, what a good idea to do this podcast. I love it. So,
Oh,
I do have 5 kids. If any of you are like, I wonder if I can have a business with a lot of kids. I feel like 5 is, more than one, but one is a lot. It doesn't matter how many kids you have. Kids just equal a lot of multitasking, right? So,
yeah. Yeah. And honestly, when I started this podcast, I did it because I was like, okay, I'm a new mom and I need advice. So I might as well just record it and then share it. And so that was the idea of this podcast. And,
brilliant.
honestly, right now, I'm just going to throw in a transparent moment and then see what you'd have to say to that. I'm almost about to hit burnout. I'm like just any other pressure at this point, and it's going to push me over the edge. And I've had a business. I owned it for 3 years before I became a mom. Now I'm a mom to a 6 month old, and it's stressful. There's a lot of personal things going on, but on top of that, there's baby, there's pumping, just baby world. And then there's business where you have to put on the other hat and totally be like a boss at. And I'm dropping the ball in somewhat both areas sometimes, depending on the day. And I'm just like, this is just too hard. That's the point I'm at right now. But I can't just let go of either. They're both my babies. My business I built up from scratch, and it's a 6-figure business in less than 2 years, 3 years about. And it's just like, why would I just totally let that go? I have a team. They're doing what they're doing. I want to support them. And then, I have that baby. That baby's not going anywhere. So, and I love him. Love him. He's amazing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but I feel like I have to stop, but I feel like I can't stop. So what would you say to the mom out there who
Yes.
feels that?
Oh man, so real. You're gonna make me want to cry. Because we all face burnout, even if you're not currently running your own business, just in life, we all face burnout. And so the two things that I would say that have helped me in moments like that is for sure getting back to the reason that I started whatever it is that I'm doing, right? So like what I call that is my why, right? Like what is the reason that I wanted to be a mother and what is the reason that I wanted to have the business, right? And kind of sitting with that. So it would be meditation, prayer, right? To get recentered. And sometimes that is literally only 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be like hours of meditation, right? Because you just don't have that time.
Yeah.
But if I can reconnect again to why I'm doing what I'm doing, this chaos that it's creating in my life, it gives me just that additional strength to, make it one more day. And the other piece for me that has been super helpful is basically essential oils.
Mm,
And not just any brand will do. I would find a doTERRA essential oil that is going to help you inhale that when you're doing that meditation and that prayer. And the way you're going to select that is you're going to basically, if you have a few to pick from, you would basically inhale the various ones and figure out if you don't know much about them, just go intuitively from, okay, this one right here makes me feel like calmer or more motivated or whatever the emotion is that you're trying to basically escape in a sense. The feeling of quitting, right, and the feeling of just utter surrender, which surrender is good, right? But it's just the giving up part that we want to surrender and let things go and not force them. But yeah, those two things for me, those will get me through some of my darkest times. And so yeah,
Yeah, no,
kind
I
of
love
like
that.
concisely said, pray and use oils. That's just how. Like,
Yes. Yeah. No, and I love that because a lot of people don't think about essential oils. And then at some point, it's also one of the popular buzzwords, depending on where you are in the holistic space. So I'd
mhm.
love to talk about that more in just a second. But before that, I want to just have a minute for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do that.
Yes. So, as she said, I'm Roxane Bybee, and my husband and I have the five boys, but he started our business together. So it is together now, but at the beginning it wasn't. And that was because I was at burnout. That was 2009 financial crash. Anyone remember that? And most of us did deal with major financial, not to mention emotional meltdowns during that time. And so I had to go back to work, and I had three little ones at home, and I hadn't worked as a mother. I had been able to stay home. And because of the financial crash, I had to go and take a job, right? And so mentally, I was completely like, I just felt broken, and trying to manage those things all at the same time was really difficult. And so my husband saw this option of, hey, you know what? We are in a financial hole. What if we do a direct sales, which, most people have no clue about direct sales or network marketing. They think it's just evil, or they don't really understand what it is. And so there's a lot of negatives around that particular model of business. But my husband was like, we're desperate. Like, we're going to hand down debt to our children if we don't do something crazy, if we don't do something different. And he had a job, but it was that time, right? And everyone was losing everything. And so luckily was open, and he started basically a, network marketing business using doTERRA essential oils, teaching people how to use them for their health and wellness.
Wow.
And it took me like more than 6 months to even want to join him in this. But basically, once I had utilized the essential oils for various health things that I was having going on, some was headaches, and then I was also having one of my toddlers wasn't sleeping. And basically, once I saw them work on that, I was like, oh man, I absolutely must help other mothers who might be in the same position that I am, like broken, kids won't sleep, headaches, pain, whatever it is. I have to help them. I have
Yeah.
to. And so that was actually what launched me into joining him in this. And so yes, it's completely not what I saw our life being, but
Mm.
we were living in a trailer at the time. We were
Wow.
like not a nice trailer. There are nice trailers. We did not live in a nice trailer in California, and it was a rough situation, And now we're like in this really amazing house. Like things have all come to fruition, and but only with the right model, the right effort, and not giving up, right? So
Yeah.
that is kind of a little bit about our story.
I love that. Thank you. That is inspiring. Yeah, I feel like no matter where we are in what stage of life or business, there's a part of us that feels stuck. And I'm constantly trying to escape that feeling. I noticed, like, man, I feel stuck. I feel like my back is pinned against the wall. I can only do so much to make so much happen, whether it's in my business or my personal life or my relationships or this, that, and the other. And I think that's because maybe I got stuck myself in a perspective, you know? Because I'm probably not as stuck as I think I am. Like if I zoomed out and I saw the bigger picture, I'd probably look and say, "Oh, you're about to hit your next breakthrough."
Yeah,
Or you have no idea what so and so even across the street is going through right now. Like if you realized how nice you have it, you would just be like, "Oh, we're going to be okay," right?
that's
But
right.
at the same time, there are really hard moments, like what we're talking about,
Absolutely.
and they're very real. And so, what I would love to know about, let's dive into the essential oils for a second. Because
Okay.
what is an essential oil? Why is it called essential?
Right?
I've always wondered that.
No,
And then,
I don't
what
know.
can we
That's
use
a
essential
great
oils
question.
for?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you now that I feel like they're absolutely essential in my life, but I didn't feel like that when I first heard about them. I was like, you just get these, you have them when you're getting a massage. And we can't afford massage, so I don't know why I would need essential oils. That was my, understanding. So if you're like me and that's where you started, then you're not alone, because that's what most of us know about is, oh, I would use an essential oil like lavender or peppermint. But technically, it goes way beyond just those couple of very common ones that people think about. But an essential oil is technically basically the extract from whatever part of the plant is the most going to be the most beneficial. So, for example, there is an essential oil called vetiver, and it literally comes from the roots of that particular bush. Okay,
Wow.
because that's where they found, and I'll just give you like a cool example. Like vetiver works phenomenally for the nervous system and your nerves in your body. And if you look at the roots of vetiver, if you type it in and you look up the image, it literally looks like all the little nerves of the body. The root system literally looks like it's mimicking what it's almost like God said, "Hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a secret. If you pay attention to what this looks like, you can figure out what to use it for." Now, that's
Yeah.
not the only thing that vetiver does, but it's absolutely phenomenal for slowing the mind, getting the nervous system to calm down. I use it bar none every night on my 8-year-old child because he will not sleep very well without it, you know? And so these essential oils, they literally can come from different parts of the plant, but you absolutely, now with the market the way it is, essential oils have become very popular.
Yeah.
There are a zillion synthetic essential oils. So this is a huge problem because they technically are medicinal. They're remedies. They are fabulously powerful. But if you synthesize them, they don't work at all.
Wow.
So we have a ton of people out there using them that are synthetic, and they're saying essential oils don't work. Like, I don't know why people are saying they work. These are stupid. And they're right, because you absolutely, if you get a synthetic one, it doesn't work. It's literally like a toxin.
Yeah.
So that is the marketplace right now. But they are like having answers to every problem, emotional, physical, and for us, financial. And that's what we also teach people about is like, hey, if you don't know what business to start, you're like, wow, there's so many cool business ideas out there. I have no idea which one to start. I'm like, you know what? While you're thinking about what you want to create on your own, just tag into something that actually will help your family with all their health needs, the emotional needs, right? We have a ton of emotional needs.
Yeah.
Essential oils actually work on those too. So you could basically use a model that's already been worked out, created, the shipping's all done, the
Wow.
website's all done. I don't have
Mm.
to do any of that. All that infrastructure is completely done for me.
Wow.
And so it really is like, I would say, the ideal business model to find
Mhm.
for a busy mom is
Yeah.
something where all that is done. You do not have to do it yourself.
Yeah, no, that's perfect
So,
because the number one thing that my viewers asked for was how do I make money from home as a mom? That's the
yep.
number one thing moms want to know these days, especially with all the social media saying, hey, you can work less and get
Make
paid.
more,
And
right?
yes.
Right?
And it's
Yes.
like, okay, and what do you think about that, by the way? Like, are you skeptical? Do you think that's true? Are you
Yes,
like,
I
yeah,
am skeptical. Yes, I am. And it's funny because I do have a little bit of activity that I've done on my own social media. Okay, like if you wanted to go to my handle Instagram, it's wellness rocks, ROX. But and
Mhm.
people see my stuff and they're like, "Oh my gosh, your videos are so great." And has that really helped your business? And I'm like, "Well, I really just do it for a little bit of education because honestly, I have not been able to take someone from, oh, seeing my video to becoming a customer. That it just doesn't, and I'm not great at that. For
Yeah.
me, the best way to basically create income is to be with someone, what I call belly to belly, okay? Talk to them, see what's going on, help them with whatever it is. That is literally where I find not only the most results, but the most joy because it's like so fun to make a new friend, help them figure out a problem that's been going on, whether it's their own health or their family's health or emotion stuff, whatever it is. And like we can solve it. And they are just so excited, right? So it's kind of like being a hope dealer. You're giving people hope. So the fact that people say you can work less, make more, it is true, but there is a curve, okay? So at least in my experience, the initial part, and you've probably experienced this too, because anyone who grows their own business, the initial part, if you break down your how much you're making per hour of working, you're gonna
Right.
hate it. Your husband's gonna say you are wasting your time, like if he's not helping you, right? He's gonna be like, this is the dumbest thing ever. You're making like 2 cents an hour.
Mhm.
So do not do that because you have to look at it as building a pipeline. If you're using something like network marketing to create a business, then it takes time to create a team in a sense, a group of people that will work together to help each other and to basically sell whatever product it is that you have. And that doesn't happen overnight. So
Yeah.
you have to have that vision, you have to love people and continue to do it, and then it will do exactly what you said. It will pay you out big money, big money, but you have to have that vision and you have to work through the very teeny tiny and negative money, right? Where you're like, I'm investing and I'm not making anything back at the
Yeah.
beginning, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so, what would you say in one sentence is your why for your business?
So, my husband and I have the same why, and it is that we bring health and hope to everyone we touch. And so that
Um,
is literally our why. I know. And every time I say it, I still get chills because honestly, if that is what is at the core, then sometimes people say, "Oh, network marketing is just all about money. It's just focused on money." And I'm like, "You can do it that way. You can." I We haven't chosen to do it that way. And I feel like there is a very beautiful way to do any business that you choose, but there's also kind of a dark way to do any business that you choose in a sense. So
Absolutely.
choose the light, choose the service pathway, and typically the more value you create in your business, the bigger the payout is going to be. Not only for you and joy and your family and fulfillment, but in money.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And how do you attest to the quality of doTERRA specifically?
So it's just hands down. Like I have five boys, and I will internally use the essential oils with them and with myself. And people just hear that are in aromatherapy and they want to just throw up, right? Because they're like, everything online and every book I've ever read says do not internalize, do not use these in a capsule. It's dangerous. And I'm like, you're right. If you're using a synthetic essential oil, that is so correct. But basically, the purity of doTERRA is that is the only brand I would ever use internal. And you can tell by looking at the bottle, it will say supplement facts and it will have basically a supplement fact label on the back so that you know I can internalize this oil. And that is what is going to take an essential oil from working for you marginally to working for you in complete ways is that internal factor. And I'll just kind of, if it's okay, share a quick story on that. And it does
Yeah.
relate to nursing, which is you're totally at the nursing stage right now. So, when I was learning about essential oils and still kind of getting used to using them, I had a new baby, and a lot of people get terrified, like, oh, can I use essential oils with my new baby? We had two children that we literally used doTERRA essential oils right on them out of the womb. Like,
Mm.
we're not using oregano. Oregano is a
Yeah.
very hot oil, okay? But like myrrh, frankincense, there's definitely just oils that are just so amazing on newborns, okay? And so this child, he started getting a little sniffy nose, and you know what happens if you've been breastfeeding before and your baby starts to get congested, he or she will not eat. They will scream their head off because they feel like they're dying every time they try to nurse. They can't breathe, right? And so it's terrifying as a mother, right? Because you start feeling like my child's going to weight's going to go down, they're going to not be able to eat, right? So you just get very scared. And so I knew I had to use essential oils to kill this cold that my child had, right? Well, I started using them topically, right, in the way that I had already learned from some of my books. And it usually works fine, but this baby wasn't snapping back, and usually it's very fast. So I was like, dang, ugh, what should I do? And then I started thinking, oh, well, what do I do with me? I do them internally with me when I have a cold. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, how am I going to get it internally of the baby? And I was like, oh, I'm nursing. I'm going to take the essential oils and the
Mm.
baby's going to get them? So
Mm.
I did, as soon as I did that, baby just boom, cleared it right up, even totally better. So that was like a testament to me that internal use, that is, if you're utilizing essential oils in a way that is just, oh, I'm just smelling them, they smell nice, whatever, like you're not even getting the potential of what these can do for you
Yeah.
until you're able to find a brand like doTERRA that you can use internally.
Wow, that is incredible. Wow. Um, Talk to me about like when it comes to being a mom, would you recommend if a mom is thinking about getting into business and she's a young mom versus the kids are a little bit older? Do you have a do you have an opinion on okay, you should probably think about doing business at one of these junctures and not at the other? Like, do you have two cents on that?
That's funny that you say that. I'm definitely at the stage, like I do not have a nursing child right now. My youngest is 8. And I'm like, this is definitely the easiest time, right? Everybody can wipe their own bottom and everyone can, and people can even make their own food. It's
Yeah.
incredible, right?
Mhm.
But I did not have that luxury. When I needed the income, our
Yeah.
first goal with doTERRA was to have $1,000 extra so that I could stop working that outside of the home job. That was
Mhm.
our first goal. And, like in that case, my kids were teeny and I wanted to have two more kids. So I still, I basically gave birth and, had the infants on the way doing this whole journey, right? So I didn't get to choose. There is definitely an ideal time, and I do feel like it is absolutely when your kids can all, they're not nursing, they're not teeny. But if you're like me and you can't choose that and you need the income, which is where most of us are because costs are like through the roof right now, then
Yeah.
what I can tell you is that it is absolutely possible. It is not easy. But I'll tell you right now, what you're doing is not easy right now either. And all I did was worry about money. When I didn't have money, it was
Yeah.
all I thought about. And so if
Yeah.
someone tells you, oh, like you're just so focused on money, I'm like, that's because it's like oxygen. As soon as someone sticks their hand on your mouth and nose and you cannot breathe, it is all you can think about is oxygen, right?
Yeah.
When I didn't have any money, that's all I thought about. As
Yeah.
soon as I had more money, I didn't even have to think about it. It was just like a resource. You just pull from it when you need it. And it's not like my obsession anymore,
Right.
right? So the answer to that is if you have to have a business and start a business when you have little ones at home, there is a way to do it. But I would absolutely pick something like network marketing. If you don't choose doTERRA, like pick another one. Just the great thing is that that is all done. That all that infrastructure, you do not want to be the person that has a bunch of three little kids and they're trying to figure out shipping and they're trying to create a website and they're trying to, I mean, you don't even realize the amount of time and cost that is going to be involved in that. Don't do it. Just find something you can get behind that's already done and tag into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And how much would you say has to be invested up front to be able to get into network marketing, especially with doTERRA, for example?
That is another reason I love it. Oh man, low investment. We looked at like, let's do a pizza business. Let's do a carpet cleaning franchise. Everything we looked at that was franchise was going to cost us at least 10 grand. We did not have 10 grand to invest. I mean, even if we'd gone into that additional debt, we were maxed out. Every card, everything was maxed out. There was no option for us in that regard. So I was just like, low capital, we have to do something low capital. And thank heavens with doTERRA, you're literally, you just need to get started with some of the oils so you can start to figure them out.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at, I mean, if you put in $500, that's what we did, was we bought like the biggest kit we could so we could kind of have like, oh, a diffuser and teach some classes and, learn the oils. And that's how much we invested. And I remember thinking, this is the dumbest thing. What are we doing? We do not even have $500. We don't have $500 for groceries. Why are we spending $500 on essential oils that are
Yeah.
for massage? That was where my brain was. I did not
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
So, but luckily, my husband had the vision, right? So, but the vision is that you sometimes don't, what you're looking at doesn't look like the answer, but
Yeah.
sometimes it is. So I'm so grateful. So grateful.
No, I love that because as entrepreneurs, in order for us to be successful, and I said this in a recent podcast episode too, but research shows that the difference between entrepreneurs who succeed and entrepreneurs who don't is that the ones who succeed, they say, like, they never give up. And what is it specifically? I just had it, and then my mind just left. But essentially, they know that when hard times come, it's just a moment, but the vision carries them through past that. Whereas the entrepreneurs who don't succeed think, oh my goodness, this is it. This defines me. I'm done. And then that's it.
Yes.
And so that's the
Yes.
difference between the ones who succeed and the ones who don't. They understand the moments, the hard moments are moments. They're going to get on the
Yes.
other side. So, and it sounds like a part of that is that vision that you're talking about because,
Yes.
and also the identity, right? Just understanding that this whole thing isn't just who you are at this moment doesn't mean that's who you are, period. It just means that
Right.
this is what you're going through to get to a different side, to get to the other side, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, like fail faster. Just keep failing. Like the people that I know in business that have been successful, they failed and they failed and they failed and they failed and they failed again. And then even after getting successful, sometimes you fail, right? And then you're like, wait a second, I'm successful. Like, how could I be failing? But you mentioned being stuck. Sometimes you get mentally stuck. And the best way to get out of that is to basically go within, right? Do the work that needs to be done because typically you've lost your vision. you've lost your why, and you need to get your mindset back where it was, and where it should be,
Yeah.
in order to not give up. So
Yeah.
yeah, fail faster. Get more no's. Like if you're in sales, we always
Hmm.
tell people like go for the no. If you go for the no, then eventually you're going to find some yeses while you're getting those no's.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's do a quick, just rapid fire. So I'm going to put out a symptom, and I want you to tell me an essential oil that could address it. And not the details,
Okay,
just out
cool.
of curiosity. I'm curious to see what goes
Yep,
with what.
yep. It'll just be like a fun trivia game. I love it. Okay.
Okay. Anxiety.
Adaptive blend.
Adaptive blend. And what's in that blend?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know all the oils, but there's definitely some citruses and some mint.
Okay. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
basically works on your cortisol levels. So, yeah,
Awesome.
it's
Okay.
the same.
Let's go with depression.
Ooh, that adaptive could work as well. Um, I know. Handy that they can both work for that. Yeah, so technically, but there is an oil called Cheer, and actually that one also. So one of the other things to note, you can actually have many different answers to these questions, by the way. So if someone else watching this has essential oil experience, they might answer completely differently than me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Let's go with you're already cheerful or joyful. Is there anything else you would use to help you maintain it?
Absolutely. Balance. There's a blend called Balance from doTERRA. Not only can that just ground you in who you are and how you're feeling, but it's absolutely like it's hormonal balancing. So I tell people all the time, like if there's one thing and you can only do one thing, maybe it's that, just to get yourself grounded. It's got frankincense in there, which is just a powerhouse essential oil. So
Okay, awesome. And where do we find these oils? Like, let's say someone's listening and like, okay, you know what? Because that's what I'm kind of thinking right now. I'm like, I need to get some oils. So where do we go? How does
absolutely.
this work?
It is tempting, there's of course everything these days is on Amazon, right? You can find it. But what I will warn you about is that unfortunately, because everything is on Amazon, like doTERRA corporate is not selling their product on Amazon. So some of the stuff on there can be fakes. And so I highly recommend that you either like anyone can DM me at I'm like I said, my handle on Instagram is wellness rocks, ROX. And I can get it for you at 25% off. But also, you may have a friend that has already talked to you about doTERRA. Go to them and say, hey, because that's really how this business works so well is basically word of mouth so that we can educate because the FDA really does have our hands tied on some of the things that we can say in print. But if
Yeah.
you go and have a one-on-one with someone, they can really give you the full scope of what essential oils can do for you.
Awesome. And then what if we're local to St. George and we're like, tell us more because you still do workshops or
Yes.
webinars or anything like that, classes?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have actually a Zoom class that I have going on a Wednesday night this week. So yes, if you DM me, I can get you local information on when the next class is. We do in person, we do Zoom, so we can meet you wherever you're at.
Awesome. Awesome. And I could talk to you forever. We're just getting started, but of
Same,
course,
same.
I have to wrap this up. So, what would you say to a mompreneur who is in the thick of it with her business and her kids, and she just wants some encouragement? She just wants to hear from someone who's on the other side who's like, okay, I stuck it out. We built the business. My kids can now wipe their own butts. And now
Yeah.
I'm doing the business still, but it's totally different from when I started. Or just a mom who didn't know what she was getting herself into. So she's in it and she's like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do with myself? What would you
It
say
can,
as a word of encouragement to her?
yeah. Oh, I'm definitely feeling emotional answering this question because take it a day at a time, okay? And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about even the teeniest progress that you're going to make. And if you feel like you're not making progress, you're failing, technically you are making progress, okay? Because basically your efforts and your sacrifice will, the Lord, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to bring God into this, He will basically reward you for those sacrifices when they have a purpose. And so keep up the sacrifices you're doing with your children and your work and just take it a day at a time. If someone had looked at me years ago and said, this is where your business will be, this is where your income will be, I would have never guessed that it would happen the way it's happened. So believe, Don't give up hope, even in the darkest of times. Just believe that anything is possible, especially if you have powerful mentors and you bring the Lord into your business and into your life. He can magnify everything that you do.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. That is wonderful. And thank you so much for all of you hanging out with us today on Mompreneurs Making Moves. If you found a little encouragement, a fresh idea, or just felt seen, we'd love for you to subscribe, share this with your mompreneur friends, and remember that every small step you take in your business and in your life matters, and you're absolutely not alone on this journey. So keep showing up, keep making moves, and don't forget to take care of yourself too. Make sure to follow us at Mompreneurs Making Moves on Instagram and Facebook, and you can watch this full interview on our YouTube channel at Mompreneurs Making Moves Official. Roxane, it's been a pleasure. We'll definitely have you on again. And for everyone listening, we will see you next time.
Take care.